Michael Garden, 20.
My name's Finlay Spence, I'm 21.
My name's Kevin Lane. I am 42 as of last week.
Dustin MacDonald, 33.
My name's Paul, and I'm 24.
Hi, my name's Matthew. I'm 19 years old.
Not clinically diagnosed per se. Like, I do see a therapist. Like, I wouldn't say I haven't been like clinically, like technically, like I have clinical depression. Like, it's not been an actual diagnosed thing, but I know I am depressed.
I don't have a diagnosed mental disorder, but I feel I have had times where my mental health has been less than up to par. I have a bit of difficulty with kind of mental health because I don't really know when I'm having issues. Usually I'll maybe be surprised about a reaction or something. I'm not an angry person. Sometimes I'll throw something and think, oh, that's not like me, and then realise that maybe something's not quite right.
Yeah. In the past, I've been diagnosed with OCD and depression. With OCD, a lot of people would assume it's just arranging things neatly, or if there's like a spot of dirt somewhere, you go berserk. But with me, it was mostly obsessions. But it kind of, I had obsessions about hand washing a lot, so I'd wash my hands constantly, and every time I think it's clean, it wouldn't be clean, and I just destroyed the skin on my hands because I would just wash my hands constantly for like probably 10 years now.
Numb. That's the best way to describe it.
I would say it's kind of like, the best way to put it, it's like a running tap. Most days it's just a little drip there, and so just little things just keep going every day, but sometimes the tap just goes straight on, full-blown gush.
Made it very difficult for a period of time. Yeah, it was a struggle.
I would say personal wise it's had like quite a negative effect over the last couple of years. With my college wise it can have quite a devastating effect because my confidence, my ability is linked to my confidence, and my ability gets worse if my confidence gets worse, i.e. because I get more depressed. So if I get more depressed, I just end up not doing so well professional wise.
Changed it completely. Utterly changed it completely. I had to drop out of secondary school, so I didn't get any hires. So it completely changed my career. Like, I wasn't able to go to university. Because of my OCD and other things, I couldn't travel, so I had less life experience by the time I was in my 20s. It's insane. It's utterly changed my life completely.
Yes, there have been points where I've been severely stressed, paranoid, and just overthinking to too many things. Mainly this has occurred with exams, examination times, high periods of stress, and just personal strife, amongst other things.
Yeah, anxiety kind of keeps me from doing like a lot of things, especially like more artsy things and things that involve putting my work like out into the world.
It took a while because there wasn't that much support available until after I turned 18, and then I got referred to the proper adult unit, and then I got put on proper medication, and a lot of other things in my life improved as well, but the main one was just finally getting some proper support.
I did go just recently, actually. I went and spoke to somebody after I kind of, like I said, I'm not an angry person, and so I did go to speak to somebody about why I was getting angry, and just that one meeting, it was just like a preliminary meeting. It wasn't like a proper session, a psychologist session, and I went to speak to a person, and after that one session, just speaking about something and getting it out and speaking to somebody that wasn't part of my family made me think about something. They said a couple of things that nobody else had said to me, and it kind of made me realise that maybe the solution was a little easier than I thought it was going to be.
I do see a therapist do it like through NHS. I do it privately.
I do think there's elements that are changing, but I don't think it's changing quick enough. When you consider that suicide in men kills more than cancer, it's quite a worrying epidemic.
They have to be, don't have to subscribe to kind of this idea of manliness, because I mean, what is it really? It's just kind of what media kind of pushes onto people.
And I still think a lot of the time men's emotions are played for laughs instead of dealt with the same way that they are with other things.
I feel in everything, not just in mental health, but in every ways, when it comes to anything where a woman is like in a role of like maybe being a victim in some way, the media jumps on it and everyone's like, oh my god. But everyone thinks that like the majority of times everyone just focuses on the female aspect, but it happens on the male as well. Like statistically, I am in a dangerous statistic for people committing suicide. When is that often mentioned? How often is that mentioned? Not that often. So like when women are like, you know, this or like we hear all the terrible stuff and happen to women, yes it happens, but this also happens to men too. Like when we never hear about like the whole Me Too movement about within the film industry and all that about like sexual assault and things, that was all happening with women. It happens to men too. Also with mental health that happens too, but you never hear about it just because males are meant to be tough and perceived to be tough.
I think there's an awful lot more help for women than there is for men, and I don't mean that in a sexist way. I mean there literally is nowhere for men to go. There's nowhere. You've got shelter. You've got all these like rape counselling and everything else like that. There's nowhere really for blokes to go. And while I understand the argument of women sometimes get things harder,
I think in some aspects there is. It depends where what type of mental illness. Definitely talk to someone.
Talk about it with literally anyone.
Just to talk about it.
Talk to someone, find that person you can talk to. You may not have that person, that's what the hotlines are for, and so you can develop it. Like if you honestly do have anyone that you can talk to, anyone close, maybe not a family member, maybe it could be a friend or maybe a partner, but just talk about it. Even go see a therapist. Like my version of like, as I said, masculinity is like private. Not everyone can do that. I'm bisexual. I can be feminine and I to go see someone because it certainly does help. It helps. I believe masculinity in a lot better state than I was. In itself is a concept. Same with femininity. It's all depending on the person itself. But the idea that men have to be tough and burly and just not talk about their feelings is quite toxic, because people need to talk about things, whether they're feminine, masculine or not. It's the same issue.